Oh, what's good, my man in society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Look, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and are subscribed to the channel. It's absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. Highly appreciate if you go ahead and do that. It don't cost nothing. Join the madness. Now, something had came across my feed, right? I had seen a few days ago about the Mount Rushmore of Norteno rappers, and then a subscriber had asked me what's my opinion on the matter. Considering I do the battle rap reactions on my other channel. If you guys are interested, you guys can scope that out. Friendly competition between Southerners and Northerners in a battle to see which track is better. Um, so I scope out a lot of music, right? That subscribers send me and requests and whatnot. So since I started doing that, I got a good understanding of a lot of Northern rap through the years. And like I said, I'm not from Northern California. I'm not a Northerner, right? I'm from the South. I'm a Southerner. So I could give my unbiased opinion on the matter. Now you can be like, "What's the Southerners doing talking about Northerners? Stay out of it." Blah, 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 blah. Look, I was asked for my opinion. I'm gonna give my opinion. If you don't like it, oh well, right? Some people, when they give their honest opinions on, or they give their pick about what they think is on the Mount Rushmore of something, right, or the greatest of all time. Sometimes their picks could be clouded by nostalgia and could be clouded by pride, right? Maybe if the individuals from their city, right, they'll tend to elevate them more because they're from their city and they represent their city, right? Sometimes it's because a person passed away. Sometimes it's because a person puts in a lot of work, right? But if we're talking about the Mount Rushmore of Northern rappers, then that means in skills in rap only. What they do in the streets, how gangster they are, how much work they put in, what city, that's all irrelevant. That does not matter. None of that shit matters. We're talking about music here and rap and skills, right? Now, like I said, this is just my opinion on what I would consider the Mount Rushmore for the northern side. Like I said, since I don't have no bias, in picks. Now I seen some people were arguing about or saying that Goto shouldn't be on there. People had put Gotos on there. I agree. I feel like Goto shouldn't be on there. Now the reason why I feel like Goto shouldn't be on there, Gotos, even though he does have music, right? Even though he has some rap songs, right? He's more of a producer. He's more of the guy that puts people on. He's more of the guy that puts stuff together. So he's not much of a rapper, even though he can rap and he has rap. You know, I feel like he's just the more of the man behind the scenes, right? Which is still something that's very respected and something that's important in the music industry. But when we're talking about just skills of the Mount Rushmore of skills of rappers, I feel like that's just now. If we were talking about maybe like the Mount Rushmore of Northerners that made the northern rap music scene happen, then he would probably be on there with like Sir Dino and people like that, right? But if we're talking about rap skills, yeah, I feel like he shouldn't be on there. Um, I would put Casper Loke. The reason I say Casper Loke, um, the catalog of his music, the quality of his music. One of the things that's important is um, has it survived the has it survived time? Meaning, there's some music that we used to hear back in the days, and if we hear it now, we're like, damn, what the hell was I thinking? I actually like that song. That shit sounds whack, you know? But if it's, song from back in the days and you hear it now and it still sounds good, it lasted the test of time, right? So, his music, I feel like even from his earlier music to now, it still holds up in quality. Another thing why I say him is because of his style, his overall pacing. He's able to keep up with the beat. He doesn't go off beat. His grammar, his vocabulary, pues, his metaphors. He comes legit with the metaphors, and just stuff that's really important in music, right? Voice control levels, pacing, all of that he has, and is a master of his craft. So I think for that reason he's on there, right? Another individual that's definitely on there, I would say, is BFD. Now, I heard some people were saying that BFD shouldn't be on there because he doesn't have that long rapping or his catalog or something like that. The catalog of music, that's irrelevant. It's the skills that matter. No other rapper, at least that I have heard, and from both, meaning Southern or Northerner, right, comes with a style like BFD, right? His overall metaphors, his wordplay, his rhyming is off the chart, right? His creativity above anything else is probably what stands out the most about him. His creativity. The individuals is just unique, in that sense when it comes to his music. Um, he definitely has a lot of skills, and even though he doesn't have that long rapping, right, that's irrelevant. It's kind of like saying that uh that Giannis or Jokic from the NBA, that they're not top NBA players just because they don't have that long playing. Like, fuck no, they're elite NBA players, you know top 50 for sure, even though they don't have that long playing. Just the stuff that they have able to accomplish in the short amount of time says everything in itself. The same could be said for BFD. Just so far what he has been able to produce in itself is phenomenal, phenomenal. So I would put him up there. Another individual that would definitely go up there is, to no surprise, Woody. Woody, because his music, even though he passed away a while back ago, his music still holds up to nowadays. It still sounds legit. What made him stand out above anything else, though, is that he was the producer, the writer, and the rapper. So he produced, made his own beats, produced his own music, and wrote his own music. So he was doing it all. And people have to understand how difficult that is, to make your own beats, produce your own songs, and to write and rap your own songs. That in itself, and he was doing it back then when you didn't have so many tools like you do now, is incredible, bro. It's incredible what he was able to do with the shorthanded that he was, right? So the fact that he was able to spit how he spit, and the music sounded as good as it did when he really didn't have that many options or stuff to work with, in itself shows his skills in the music, right? So I would put him up there for that reason. And last but not least, I would put Asito. Even though he's a new youngster coming up, whatever, his overall stilo, his flow is smooth, right? Composed. I know there's a bunch of youngsters nowadays that have a lot of talent out there in the rap game, right? But he has an old soul to his new style. You know what I mean? He has shown a lot of growth for his age, and for that, I would say he deserves to be up there. And at least that is who I would consider to be up there in the northern rapper side of the Mount Rushmore. You might disagree with me. That's perfectly fine, right? We're all gonna have different picks. You can leave your picks in the comments, right? But I at least, like I said, since I don't have no attachment to none of these individuals, I'm not a northerner or nothing like that. I'm not from Northern California, right? I'm at least giving you my unbiased opinion on who I think, at least from the northern side, comes legit. And it was difficult to round those up, because I feel like Babyface Wood needs to be should hold a spot, or a Big Rome. You know what I mean? Like, I know that there's other northern rappers that is like a conspiracy. Like, damn, like, oh man, some had to get left out. GB, unfortunately, right? Um, Big Rome, but Big Rome, I mean Big Tone. But at least I could confidently say that those picks, I think, in skills in rapping, deserve those spots. I know that people pick, little T Y, whatever, little T Y. No disrespect, is I forget his name, right? Um, but I think that people picked him because he passed away and he was somebody that was respected, right? I think that that's maybe what boosted people's. Don't get me wrong, his music skills were legit too, right? But I feel like that may boost it up, and I feel like people do the same with others. I know people would say Sir Dino just because he started it, with the first album or whatever. But the skills level in rap was just not it, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? You know, but that is how a lot of, earlier Chicano rap was in general, right? Because for the South, some people would throw some names out there, and I'm just like, I get it that they were some of the first, bro, but no, their music doesn't hold up nowadays. You know what I mean? I get it. A lot of people like to play nostalgia or how they were the first, they were the originators. But if we're talking about just rap skills, bro, no. Nostalgia's not going to help you here. We're talking about skills. You need skills here. But at least that's my pick. What are your thoughts? Leave it in the comments. If Shadow, we out.